Morning, 10:30 in the morning, already beginning to heat up in Vancouver. I'm going to be spending the morning in Stanley Park. I'll be doing some long exposure, so stay with me. I'll be showing you the techniques I use with a Fuji mirrorless camera and giving a quick overview of the leaf filter system that I use when I do long exposures. So I've got the skyline of Vancouver and I see that there are some poles sticking out of the water. So I'm going to see what I can get there, try to get the gas petrol station out of the way. So I finally found a way to get down to the water. And I'm debating whether I'm going to have some of these rocks in the foreground and what I'm going to take a picture of. So today I've got with me the 16mm so I can get some wide angle photography done, and also the 90. You see that the tide is out quite a bit, so the 90 is going to come in handy in order to get a little bit of reach. So I found myself a little spot here. I'm going to set up my tripod and see if I can capture what looks like a lighthouse in the back. Got the bridge behind it. So I'm set up and ready to go. I put a 15 stop filter on here because it's pretty sunny down here. I'll see what I get. Okay, that's going to go for about 40 seconds. I do like these Peak Design field pouches. It's handy because I can keep all of my ND filters in the pouch, throw it on my belt, and they're at my disposal. So often I find it handy just to use the small Manfrotto tripod instead of getting the big one out. Not sure how long the tide will take to come in, but always nice to be able to pack them quickly. So it's looking good, but what I think I'm going to do is put a graduated filter on the top just to darken down the sky a little bit. Okay, so let's drop that on and see what happens. I'm going to walk over to Lionscape Bridge, which I believe was donated by the Guinness family. And if it's not too crowded, hopefully I can set up my tripod and get some nice long exposures over there. Well, the tide is still quite far out, so this isn't the picture that I had envisioned. I thought that the water would be up around the base of the bridge. So I see there's a set of stairs over there, so I'm going to head down onto these rocks. And then what I think I'll do is see if I can capture that water and a bit of a bridge up here. So the key with long exposures is you have to have some movement. So there's definitely some movement in the water, but it's right in the middle as opposed to by the shore. There's not a great deal of movement in the water. So I'm gonna get my stuff out and see what I can get. So I have a 1 minute exposure down here. Actually, I think it was a mistake coming down too close to the water. I'm gonna head back up onto the seawall because I think I should be able to capture the water and the bridge at the same time. So I'm back up on the seawall. Here's a good tip. Make sure you check to see how much time your exposure is going to be. I forgot to change from my 15 stop to my 10 stop or even my 6 stop. And the thing is, I'm in a much darker area than I was when I was down on the beach. As a consequence, I think my exposure is going to be about 10 minutes. So I'm going to have to put my feet up and take it easy. lot of people around this area. Nice thing about doing long exposure is if your shutter is open for enough time, as long as those people are moving, they're not going to show up in your photograph. Great thing about Stanley Park is the center of it is just forest and some really lovely trails. It's been a long day out in the sun. I must say that I'm a little bit disappointed with some of the photos that I took. There's one with the seaweed where that really messed up the flattening of the ocean. It's actually quite surprised at times with the ships that even with a long exposure they did show up in the photos, a little bit of blurriness. Even people walking on the seawall showed up in some of the photographs. But what I would do now is just show you some of the equipment that I use. I was using the Fuji X-T2 with the 16 millimeter 1.4, which is a great lens. Also using the 90 millimeter, which is a 2.0 lens. That was great for getting in tight with some of the photographs. And this is the Peak Design field pouch, which I use. And this allows me to keep all of the rings that I need to attach to my various lenses. This is the holder of all the filters. And in here, I keep all of my different filters. Nice thing about these 7.5 system is they're designed for the mirrorless cameras, and as a result they're considerably smaller than the ones that you would use on a DSLR. Well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button. I welcome any feedback that you do have, and if you do enjoy the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you very much.